everybody. We are back from the NFL Scouting Combine. I'm Missi Matthews. Welcome to the Steelers Roundtable. Joining me today on our panel is Matt Williamson. He was there for the duration in Indy, so welcome back to Pittsburgh, Matt. Also, Bob Labriola is here. Matt beat him out by just a few days, and Arthur Moats is here. I'm pretty sure he was on a cruise ship, though, so we don't feel too bad for Moats.
Had to get my tan on, you know?
All right. Well, we are back, and today we are going to talk about inside linebackers and cornerbacks. We'll start with inside linebackers, so let's remind everybody at home who is currently on the Steelers roster looking at this position. Mark Barron, they acquired last year in free agency. Of course, you know Devin Bush. And the other names there, Vince Williams, the veteran guy among this list. So let's jump right to our questions, and of course, a lot about number 55, this one, guys. The first one is from Ted. What are the chances that Devin Bush will wear the green dot, being the defensive play caller, going into 2020? Labs, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think that it only makes sense to, at least at this point, assume that Devin Bush will be in that role. He is the guy of all of the inside linebackers who is clearly a three-down player. And, you know, you just don't know with Vince Williams and or Mark Barron if both of them or either of them or neither of them are going to be on the roster in a month, based on whatever the salary cap number comes up to and how the Steelers determine they need to deal with it. So as we sit here today, when you're looking at the players, the inside linebackers, the veterans who are coming back, I would think Devin Bush would be the odds-on favorite to wear the green dot.
Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like you said, he hit on the cap situation with Vince and Mark. Obviously, they'll be counting a lot, and depending on what that CBA agreement could do, those guys could be cap casualties. But I think when we're talking about Devin taking that next step forward with that green dot, I think it's responsible. I don't think it's too big of an ask to ask him to take that next step, to be more vocal, to be the guy out there making those calls. I think of my time here with Ryan Shazier, and that was the big thing for him, pushing him to be more vocal that year or two, be more of the guy that's out front and letting these guys know what he's not only thinking, but communicating that with the front and the back.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's the logical progression for a first-round pick that you traded up for. Had a very good rookie year, but if you look at everyone on the roster, I think he's the one most apt to take the step from good player to star, and I don't think you can take him off the field.
The other thing is, as a rookie, he played, let me get this right here, 82.2% of the defensive snaps. So again, the green dot guy is someone you want on the field all the time, just for the continuity of the process. And so, again, I think that it's clear that he would be the front runner.
And I know for one or two of the preseason games, so when he was really a rookie, they kind of threw it at him just to see what he would do with it. And even in the regular season, though, that was something that, being on the sidelines, I was chasing every pregame. All right, who has it? Is it Mark Barron? You know, Vince Williams had it. TJ Watt had it one game. It was kind of a big deal. So I do think that is something they want to hammer down and have maybe just one person wearing.
Some stability.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to our next Twitter question, staying with inside linebackers here. This is from DeElbo. What does year two realistically look like for Ulysses Gilbert III? I screwed up his first name, not the second. In Justin Lane with drafting another inside linebacker after the fourth round spelled trouble for Uli, as coach calls him, or Mark Barron. Matt, we'll start with you for this one.
Gilbert's my pick, actually. I mentioned Bush, I think, is going to go from good player to star. Gilbert's my pick on the roster to go from reserve to very good player. I think he's going to end up being the starter next to Bush before it's all said and done. I don't think his preseason was a fluke. I think the athleticism he brings to the field is tremendous. So I have high hopes for him.
Arthur?
Man, so I definitely have high hopes for him, but I think more so in the special teams realm. I do think that if Vince is on the team next year, he'll still get a lion's share of those reps, or if it's Mark Barron, he'll get a lion's share of those reps. But from a special team standpoint, understanding Tyler Matakadovich is an unrestricted free agent, and with the productivity that he's had throughout his career, he's probably going to get a good amount of money in that market. So that's going to leave the opportunity for Ulysses. And when you think about his athletic ability, that speed that we talk about, this is where you could really see him take that step, because most of the guys, it takes them a year or two of being dominant on special teams before you can get onto that field as a defensive guy and really start making plays.
To me, I don't think we're really going to know this until we get to Latrobe, but for Gilbert, can he learn it to the degree where it's second nature to him? The Steelers' defense is a complex one, and inside linebacker, I cannot imagine, is a simple position to understand and be able to play at top speed. And so, you know, again, I'm not saying he can't, but I think that would be the thing that would be the determining factor. I agree with you, Matt. I like his athleticism. We saw a lot of that last year in a preseason, but you know, preseason football to regular season football, that's a big difference in terms of the mental demands and the understanding. So if he can do it, great. But I mean, I don't know that it's fair to assume that he will and should.
All right, very quickly to wrap up inside linebackers, Matt, we'll start with you. Is this group trending up or down?
Oh, very much up. I mean, I just said they're two of my breakout guys in different levels, so absolutely going up.
Okay, Arthur?
Yeah, I think they're definitely trending up, all because of Devin Bush. He has star potential. When you find a player that has star potential, top 10, top 5 at their position, league-wide potential, those are the type of guys that make you say, yeah, this is a guy that's going in the right direction. And he showed, even last year as a rookie, regardless of the adversity that he was having early on in the season, he constantly got better. He constantly made the splash plays that we all love in terms of the interceptions, the forced fumbles, the fumble recoveries. So all of those things point to him taking a bigger step year 2, which ultimately makes that group take a bigger step going forward.
Yeah, I agree with these guys with their assessment of Devin Bush. And to me, what really brought it into sharp focus is if you look at Devin Bush's production and playing time as a rookie as compared to Ryan Shazier's playing time and production, the difference is it's huge. I mean, Ryan Shazier only played 9 games as a rookie. He only started 5. Devin Bush started 15 games and played in all 16. He had a number in every major defensive statistical category: tackles, sacks, passes defensed, interceptions, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, and defensive touchdowns. Ryan Shazier did not have a sack, an interception, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, or a defensive touchdown as a rookie. Now, he turned out to be a great player. I'm not demeaning him in any way, but I just, you know, trying to put this in perspective, you know, for fans who came to with some
They
questions.
were always compared to each other.
Yes, right.
Well,
And saying that Bush dropped off a little bit. But for the group as a whole, losing Barron and Vince Williams, to me, as cap casualties, would be a significant blow and might change my outlook on the position as a whole. I just think there would be a gigantic void after Bush, and hoping Gilbert gets there is a hope. As you mentioned, Matakevich, I think he's going to probably get a decent offer and leave. You know, that would really gut the unit as a whole. So I'm going to hold off
Stay
until
tuned.
after free agency.
Well, and yeah, I definitely agree, because when you talk about potentially adding somebody, whether it's through the draft or through free agency, now you're hoping that the adjustment process goes well for them. We've seen in years past where it hasn't always been that smooth. And sometimes with younger players, it does take them longer to develop, which hit me back to why I was more impressed with Devin Bush, just because the expectation that was placed upon him this year, he was instantly compared to Ryan Shazier from day one. So the fact that he was able to come out here and produce the way he did, for me, that really had me extremely high on him.
I also wouldn't be shocked if you see more snaps with just one true linebacker on the field, too. You know, an extra DB, 5 guys up front.
And
whatever.
we've seen them use that before with
Right.
the different packages and stuff.
All right, we're going to talk about cornerbacks coming up. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Steelers Roundtable continues.
Hey, you know what? Let's just score the game.
Still up by 3.
Oh, man, nice.
It's realistic.
Dude, Franco's a legend. Oh!
Hey, did you know you can watch highlights on the new Steelers app?
Download the Steelers official mobile app today and never miss out on any of the action. You can also receive app alerts straight to your phone when new episodes of Steelers Live are available. Just go to the settings page in the app and toggle on Steelers Live notifications.
Bless you.
All All right, everybody, welcome back. We talked about inside linebackers. Now let's take a look at the Steelers cornerbacks that are currently on the roster as we get closer and closer to free agency and the start of the new league year. Artie Burns, a former first-round draft pick. Joe Hayden just signed a deal last year. Mike Hilton, Justin Lane, Alexander Myers, Steve Nelson, a big get in free agency, and Cam Sutton, who I think is sometimes under the radar. So let's get right to the Twitter questions, and we'll see which way you feel this group is trending, guys, heading into the season. The first one is from Ryan. He wants to know, what are the chances of the Steelers being able to keep both Mike Hilton and Cam Sutton for depth reasons? Matt, we'll start with you.
Well, Sutton's not going anywhere, and I think he's a quality player that would be really benefited if he could just stay at the slot position. He's been moved around a lot in his career. As for Hilton, I love his tenacity. I love the way he plays the game. He has experience, but he's small and he's not very fast, and I don't know that he'll be back. I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all if he's elsewhere and they use a 4th or 5th round pick on a slot corner just to replenish things.
All right, Arthur, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think the play and emergence of Cam Sutton has essentially made Mike Hilton expendable just from a cost standpoint. When you look at Mike, he's a restricted free agent. So if they were to tender him, he's going to either get $2 million, or if they give him the second round tender, he's going to be around $3 million. Whereas you have Cam Sutton, who's still on a rookie deal. And we already talked about the cap situation right now and the uncertainties around it. They're not going to be able to have that many pieces where they're spending money in those areas like that if the cap stays as it is. So I think in that regard, you see Cam Sutton take that step, and then also that emerges with Justin Lane getting more opportunities, the guy that they were high on last year, which makes Mike Hilton pretty much expendable.
Okay, Labs.
Well, Cam Sutton isn't, he can't go anywhere. As was mentioned, he's going into the final year of his rookie contract. Mike Hilton is a restricted free agent. You know, the Steelers could offer him the low tender and see if he gets an offer. If he doesn't, then, you know, you pay him whatever that number is going to be. I don't know. But since he came into the league as an undrafted rookie, the Steelers would only be allowed to match the offer. There would be no compensation coming back if he would leave for another team. I think that's the way it's going to go. I don't know that, you know, Mike Hilton is going to get a big offer to leave here. But, you know, they're interesting players. You know, Mike Hilton is much more of a playmaker in terms of making plays on the ball, being around the ball, coming up with the ball, sacks. But opposing quarterbacks, their passer rating against him last year was in the 80s, which is not good. Now, Cam Sutton, on the other hand, he doesn't have a lot of plays on the ball, but he's better in coverage, and that's reflected a little bit by the quarterback's passer rating when they go at him. So, you know, keeping them both for one more year, I don't think is a bad thing. I don't think, though, that you want to break the bank right now on either one of those guys. Cam Sutton has another year to prove himself to see if, you know, what kind of payday he's going to be up for down the line.
All right, let's take a look at our next Twitter question. This one is from Chad. He wants to know, what are your thoughts on the possibilities of Joe Hayden regressing next year? Labs, will start with you for this one.
Joe Hayden has, I mean,
Joe Hayden has 9 lives.
No, but I mean, you know, these kinds of questions annoy me a little bit. I mean, Joe Hayden's year, he had 5 interceptions, which were the most since he was a rookie. He had 17 passes defensed, played in the Pro Bowl for the first time since 2014. Opposing quarterbacks finished with a 66.5 passer rating throwing at this guy. I mean,
what more do you want?
What about, right? I mean, I don't understand. And if he doesn't match these numbers, which were excellent, that doesn't necessarily mean he's regressing either. So, you know, I think Joe Hayden, he was helped a lot by the addition of Steven Nelson and Minkah Fitzpatrick, because quarterbacks are now thinking, you know, where are we going to go with the ball? And there were probably some times when Joe Hayden didn't have to worry about the middle of the field like he may have in the past before Minkah Fitzpatrick came. And so, I don't know. I mean, I like Joe Hayden. I don't see, you know, one of the great moments in Steelers history, in my opinion, was the Browns cutting that guy. Because I'm not going to say that Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson are the best tandem of Steelers cornerbacks ever, but, you know, I've been thinking about it. You know, there's some Hall of Fame guys, and they get their due, Mel Blount, Rod Woodson. But when you're talking about 2 guys, Nelson and Hayden, I'm listening. I'm not saying they're the best, but they're in a conversation, and I don't understand what, you know, what's the problem
Chad.
with Joe Hayden?
Sorry, Chad.
Come
That's
on,
in, like,
Chad.
the question.
Well, I mean,
It's, no, hey, he asked for your opinion, and you
there
are
it
free
is.
to give it. All right, Arthur, what's your opinion?
For me, I agree with Labs. I don't think we're going to see regression in Joe. In fact, I expect him to come back even better because we knew he was dealing with some health injuries early on in the season, and he still was able to be productive. Honestly, with the addition of Steven Nelson and Minka, like you said, that took a lot of pressure off of him, and we saw his statistics improve in terms of interceptions. So with that, the thing that I say, I guess, makes me most excited about him going forward is his mental element. He's still growing in that department, and we saw when he was paired with Minka Fitzpatrick, in terms of, I think it was the Rams game, how he's coming off of a cover 3 to come back and make an interception, big time play. He did that multiple times this past season. There's things like that that are showing me, hey, this guy's he's still growing, he's still getting better, and now he's paired with the other athletes who can match his ability, both mentally and physically, and that's where you're seeing him continue to go in the right direction.
Matt?
As Lab so eloquently stated, he's still playing pretty well. I mean, I don't have a lot of concerns, but that's why Justin Lane was drafted. These guys don't play forever, as you know, Arthur.
Right.
I mean, the end inevitably comes at some point. But the key is, the one thing these two didn't mention is the pass rush isn't going anywhere. So I'm not worried about the corner position. The pass rush is the foundation of the pass defense. I expect it to still be elite. And the corners are going to play really well, and they're going to be the benefactors of that.
Even in terms of off the field, Joe Hayden is that locker room guy.
Correct.
Minka Fitzpatrick, we sat down with him a few weeks ago. He was so excited to come here to play with Joe Hayden.
Browns could use somebody like that.
Yeah, they
not at
respect
all.
him. I think he
never get
also
talented
gets in on the
players.
film sessions. He gets everybody involved on the defense, so he's definitely a good guy on and off the field. So I think I know everyone's answer, but just give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Where's this group trending?
Up, yeah.
All right. I mean, I don't know much more you can say about this position at this point, right? Fair?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, as we said, free agency is getting closer and closer. That is going to do it for this edition of our Steelers Roundtable, but we'll be back next week, talk about some more position groups. So have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for those questions.